I found this to be a very respectful, warm, comfortable sweater. So if you love the original characters and you love the movie, this is just kind of like getting back into those clothes and hopefully finding out they fit. And to me, it was almost a little too respectful of the band, which doesn't deserve that much respect. It's the Untitled Film Project Podcast, and it's Spinal Tap II, The End Continues. Documentarian Marty DeBerge returns 40 years after the original groundbreaking mockumentary to bring David, Nigel, and Derek back, even though they are estranged and must perform one final Spinal Tap show to complete their contractual obligations.
A lot has happened since the last time I saw you. Crypto! Have you been playing music at all?
I play music at a pub.
This is the site of Spinal Tap's reunion concert. Why New Orleans?
There was a cancellation.
Who was supposed to be there?
An evening with Stormy Daniels.
Oh.
We'll give you our thoughts, and we'll ask the big question.
And that big question is what is an event or a theme, a subject matter that you would want to see a mockumentary made out of?
Spinal Tap II, The End Continues. Let's get to the beginning of our first takes on this movie. Justin Bradford.
So with me, I made sure to watch the first Spinal Tap again, of course, because it's been a long time since I've seen it.
Same.
We see clips a lot, especially that turn it up to 11. All the time in sports arenas, things like that. But I wanted to watch it again just to make sure I had a good baseline of what to judge things on. And while it's funny, I think I enjoyed Spinal Tap 2 more.
Really?
And I think it's because the humor, maybe it's me and personal taste, but there are very few comedies from that era that I think tend to stick with me a lot, especially when it comes to more dry delivery as well too, because that's good for the moment. While it's, again, still very funny, I found myself laughing out loud way more with this one. And I think it's because you're putting them in modern day.
Okay.
And what they're having to deal with in different situations and situational items that just kind of hit you, plus some of the cameos and things like that, even though we weren't getting like blown away with it in a good way. I feel like this one was more enjoyable to me because I laughed so much more and the audience was loving it. So either way, this was made for the right audience. And I think that's what is very important for this one, is that the people that wanted this, that are going to enjoy it, I think overall are enjoying it. Because I'm seeing lots of positive feedback from Spinal Tap fans. And that's the key thing right there is, did you make a sequel that entertains the right people?
It's for the fans.
And it's for the fans. And I think overall, they absolutely accomplished it because it still had that feel there of great dry delivery. But I think they took it up to 11 in a different way of delivering some good humor overall that people are just going to find funny. So I really, really enjoyed it.
I found this to be a very respectful, warm, comfortable sweater. So if you love the original characters and you love the movie, this is just kind of like getting back into those clothes and hopefully finding out they fit. And to me, it was almost a little too respectful of the band, which doesn't deserve that much respect. But I think part of that respect comes from everybody in this movie, people who wanted to be in this movie, the cameos. Everybody wanted to show that they loved the original. So I think that was a big focus of this movie. So if that's what you want out of this movie, you're going to get it because they do it lovingly. Was it hilarious? Not so much for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a gem.
Go.
All right, so this is how a legacy sequel should be done. We have seen, I wrote about this on UntitledFilmProjectPod.com, but we have seen recently AXEL F, which we enjoyed to a degree, right? And Happy Gilmore 2, which we enjoyed to a degree, all right? Are they perfect movies? No, and that's what I'm about to say. Those movies were direct to streaming. There was no kind of limited run in the theater or whatever the case is, and I think that did them a disservice in the public eye now. Again, we enjoyed them enough, like it wasn't like a waste of our time, but I think if you're seeing it with like-minded people who have nostalgia and respect and reverence for the old one, the original version or the original IP at the very least, you get them all in a room And then you enjoy the hell out of this thing because you're all in a shared space. Laughter is contagious. We talk about it all the time on this show.
Mhm.
And I think Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues, is a perfect example of how you should do a legacy sequel like this. You put it in a theater and you let people go that are mad fans of the original, and then they go and they all of a sudden things that maybe you didn't find as funny or you wouldn't find as funny alone, right? Sitting in your living room. Now all of a sudden you're caught up in it.
It's infectious.
And the public opinion, for the most part, helps drive this movie forward. So I am thrilled to say that Spinal Tap 2 is one of my favorite comedies of the year. And I think they did it right. And I would also say that I'm willing to admit, and you'll see this in my score at the end of the show, I'm willing to admit that if I did not see it with roughly 100 diehard fans of the original, I might not have enjoyed it as much. I would have still found it funny, of course, but the value is in the community. And I think I got that. And so therefore my score reflects it.
And we totally got that too, because I went to a 10 a.m. showing. There were 5 people in the theater for this, but I still was hearing laughter.
That's great.
And that was key because I was laughing out loud, and then I heard other people laughing out loud to things, and we were laughing at some different parts as well. And especially through the credits, because in true Spinal Tap fashion, the credits are also part of the film. And we're all laughing through that to the point that when we got up to go out, nobody knew each other here, but we were all going, that was really entertaining. Like we were talking to each other.
Yes.
Because the credits just ended, and all of a sudden you have immediately something to talk about. It's not like just a black screen.
Lights come up.
Yeah, lights came up. And so it was a cool experience, again, to have comedy with other people, because that's how it needs to be enjoyed, is with others.
My favorite part was the stuff over the end credits, which
great.
Technically didn't make the movie, but yes, it did.
It was almost like outtakes. Like, hey, how do we use this? We really want to use it.
Absolutely right. They did hours and hours and couldn't put it all in.
Yeah.
And then they found this stuff that, well, we couldn't work it into the regular narrative of the movie, but like we still want to show it anyway. To me, that was where that was stellar, because that was such. What makes the original Spinal Tap so great is it's not scripted comedy. It's character comedy, and it's this incredibly gifted cast of people who can ad-lib. And that's what it felt like. Like those takes were just them having so much fun with these characters.
And it felt natural, too, in terms of delivery, that like they're expecting you to laugh, because a lot of these jokes and these one-liners and these deliveries actually were able to breathe, to allow us to laugh and enjoy and not miss the next thing. Because some comedies, it's trying to hit you nonstop, which Naked Gun does, but in a good way, because that's a whole different way of delivery style for comedy, right? It's okay.
It's what it's supposed to do.
But this one, they knew where people were going to laugh, and they made sure to pull off that delivery in a way that let me have time to get an actual laugh out loud, which I think is, like we said, more difficult to do at home.
Yes.
In a theater, you feel like you're in a comfortable space to truly laugh out loud. We're able to do that and not miss the next thing. And I think that comes with the dry delivery, the British part of delivery and humor as well, too, to give you that moment to like let it soak in.
The absurdity, right?
Yes.
The fact that Nigel sells cheese and guitars.
Right.
Like the fact that Derek is working in a glue museum. Like it's just like, and they lead with Michael McKean's character, of course, right? And he is doing something that you would fully expect. He's doing scores. It's a funny way to do it
For murder podcasts.
Yeah, and like the
Hold
jingles
music
and stuff. Yeah, for sure. The whole music. Yeah, like he's doing that, but he's still music,
Right.
And so they start with that. So you're thinking, oh, all these guys are doing music stuff, and then he has guitar and cheese, and you're like, what? And that's hilarious. And then Derek is completely out of left field. He works at a glue museum. It's built funny. It is funny. The guys are still funny. The whole premise is still funny, and it pays homage without leaning on the original. And I thought that was really, really great. I do have one thing, bone of contention to pick with it, though. Okay?
Oh.
And I would love to hear your opinion on this and yours as well, if you saw the movie, which hopefully you have. The movie was not 100% mockumentary style.
It did jump out of it a few times.
There were a couple times where I was reminded, mostly when Nigel's on the phone with his wife. The camera angles were not mockumentary. They were like over the shoulder and under the staircase. And I was like, and now I'm watching a real movie now?
Third person omniscient all of a sudden?
Yeah. It was really odd. And again, I understand that that style and camera angles have come a long way. Maybe if you do an actual documentary, there are angles like maybe
GoPros.
Right. Yes. Okay. I want to, but I remember twice at least thinking, I'm not watching a mockumentary style anymore. Now I'm watching like a real movie. And it took me out of it because the charm, of course, with Spinal Tap is the comedy, of course. And it's just real enough to touch on these things that really happen in rock and music and all that. Okay. We hear people talk about that all the time, right? Like going to the stage and taking 15 wrong turns, and like
these are all based on
true things
in rock history.
Yes, for sure. Mm-hmm. So that's where the charm is. But the second layer of charm, of course, is the fact that you think your brain eventually accepts that you're a fly on the wall. You're watching the story unfold, that it's real, even though clearly it's not real, right? And it took me out of that, and I thought that was very odd, and I did not like that. It's almost like, and I do not know if this is true, they had to do pickups where they needed Christopher Guest to be talking to his wife on something, but the rest of the guys couldn't be there. So they stuck him on a staircase and said, we'll shoot over your shoulder tight and we'll shoot under your knee tight. And that way no one else has to be there. And it would just shoot you and fill in those gaps. It was very odd.
Yeah, I'll say I noticed it a couple of times. I didn't maybe notice it as much in a Gover way, which is... But there were things that took me out of the movie where I felt like they were jokes told just as well in me telling you what was in the movie than watching the movie. And some of it was based on the fact that I think one of the charms of the original Spinal Tap is you have these ridiculous, absurd young musicians in a band that think they're phenomenal. They think everything that comes out of their mouth and every idea they have is mind-blowing when it's actually ridiculous. Whereas I think a lot of this movie, when it wasn't hitting, was when other characters were the absurd things and the band is just reacting to them.
Oh, interesting.
And some of that brought comedy. We're like, okay, we're going to bring you modern day concepts of what we do in concerts, what we do, this is how we market the band. But it was more like, okay, well, where is the comedy? Because it was just them going, much funnier when they're the ones bringing the absurd ideas to the table as opposed to the other way around. Before we get to our scores on Spinal Tap II, The End Continues, standout performances or moments within the film that you're going to remember for a while, because that's what Spinal Tap does. It just kind of seeps into your brain and it's going to come back at you for years. Anything?
The pedal kit.
What a bit.
I think it was obviously meant to pay homage to the Turned Up to 11. I mean, clearly, okay. But they did it in such a way that, again, these are all rooted in real things, right? So you have this super guitar head guy who's got a pedal kit for all the different combinations, and it's really like 4 or 5 pedals or whatever the guitarist would use on stage on like a live setting. But of course, in true Spinal Tap fashion, they build it to where it's like 3 platforms of different things, and one's just like a alarm sound, and one is it's so funny. That's going to be the one thing until I go see it a second time. That's going to be the one thing that the image of Spinal Tap 2 that I have in my brain is the pedal kit.
I mean, for me, it's the ending. I really like how they ended this movie.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you start thinking of how are they going to end this?
How are they going to close the story?
Yeah, how do you close the story off?
What's the punctuation point at the end of this movie?
And it wasn't a punctuation, it was little Stonehenge that closed it.
Which pays off.
Yes.
A joke in the first movie.
Yes.
Which is so great.
40 years in the making.
Yes. It was fantastic, and especially because the drummer gets blamed. Well, she wanted it moved up, and then all of a sudden you have the truants, little people truants dancing around.
My God,
and it sends everybody. And Elton John, I mean, that's the image he shared on his social media.
Yes.
Was the picture of him in the bed all casted up. I know it may be cliche, but the end stands out to me because I really enjoyed the way they ended it, and it's like an abrupt end and extremely hilarious, and only the way that they could pull off that you don't need a happy ending or closure. It's fulfilled. They move on, and you see them in their beds, all just clashing with each other and having fun, and then it goes right into the credits smoothly. I just really enjoyed the way they ended that film.
Yeah. Well, I loved the brief but funny appearances from people like John Michael Higgins as the dance instructor, and Don Lake, who's coming in and bringing the the tours through the house, the haunted tours. To me, every time Chris Addison as Simon, the concert promoter, tour manager, was on screen, new comedy was really being made. I thought his stuff was fresh, it was funny, and it wasn't just an homage back to the band or the previous film. He was bringing something new to the table. His bit about, having a disorder where he can't hear music, it was just plain funny. I've toured, I've had all these, people with 20 number one hits, only 3 of them knew how to play instruments. Funny stuff that are truisms, like you said, Gover, that are part of rock reality and, just fame that he was bringing forward and putting new ones on the table. All right, let's get final scores. What do you put for a number to Spinal Tap II?
I am very interested to hear your perspective, okay, listening and watching, because I think it really depends on, which is weird, I'm going to try to say this in my score, but it really depends on your fandom of the original. Like my son, for example, okay, he's 13, so take that into consideration. But he's never seen the original, of course, okay? But I think he would fall over laughing at this in the theater if you were to actually see it, okay? So, but at the same time, I could also see if you're not a musician at all, you have no musical intellect, you're kind of like, yeah, music's okay in the background, like you don't get 80% of the jokes that are going to happen because you don't understand that the pedal is obnoxious, and you don't understand that the farting big bottom thing up top on the stage is a thing. Like you're not going to get any of that. So I'm interested to hear what you have to say. Please leave it in the comments below what you would score Spinal Tap II, The End Continues. I'm going to give it a 7.5 because I do think it's hilarious. I do think it's one of the best comedies of the year. So you're thinking, Gover, why isn't your score high enough? Because I don't know the answer to what I just asked you, which is, do you have to be a fan of the original like I am to fully appreciate this movie? And if you can be a fan, if you have to be a fan of the original to appreciate this movie, then my score should go down. If you can enjoy it for what it is, then the score should go up. And so I'm kind of deciding on that 7.5 as a tentative because you're going to help me decide what it is. I do have a question before we move on, though, before we go to the next person.
Okay.
Do you need to see it with a crowd?
Well, I didn't see it with a crowd.
Okay.
There was probably about 12 people in the theater when I went, and I think a crowd would have helped. Do I think it would have swayed my enjoyment? Probably a little bit.
Okay.
But not that much.
And you saw it with like 5 people, you said.
Yeah. I mean, I think it enhances your experience. But if you're a fan,
that's a good way to say it.
You're going to enjoy it
Yeah.
either way, whether you're at home or anything like that. But it will enhance your experience because it's helping. It also can trigger your brain to, oh, yeah, you know what? That actually is kind of funny. You'll tell your brain of like, it helps your brain determine, is that funny or not? And if you're really going to put up a wall and like, that's really not funny, I don't know why they're laughing. Or like, you know what? That is funny. Good job.
Because with dry delivery humor like this, right? Sometimes you can miss a joke because you don't remember it from the first movie,
Right.
for example.
Right.
With all of a sudden, if 40 people are laughing around you, you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. They did do that thing.
Takes a second to process.
Yes.
Memory trigger.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to bring that up.
Yeah.
I hold the original in very high regard, but not in so much that I don't think any movie could ever live up to it. What I wanted to do was love those characters again, and they provided that. Almost in too respectful a way. I really would have liked to have been a little more absurd. I didn't think they brought as much to the table as the first film. The first film was revelatory. I mean, obviously, it spawned, if you like Parks and Rec, The Office, and 1,000 other things.
Abbott Elementary,
great example of that style, which really was brought into the mainstream by this movie. If it was done by somebody else, nobody knew it. I was not that entertained. While I liked it, it was really nice.
Wow.
I did not laugh out loud until the finale and the end credits. There was a few times I went, to me, they didn't bring enough to the table. It it was too much a respect for the original movie, which, of course, you wanted to respect the original movie, but to the point where, okay, the respect is at the expense of being really funny and telling a great story. The conflict within the band, when they finally reveal what it is that's getting, these guys, at each other's throats, I was like, maybe you could have hinted at that a little more earlier. It just seemed like thrown in there because we needed a conflict. I really don't think that they're a good band. And there are some people that were like bought the albums for the original Spinal Tap. They're not good. It was just to serve the comedy. So I think if you really liked the music for the music in Spinal Tap, you're going to get something great out of Spinal Tap 2. Funny was not what I got. I'm giving it just a meh. My amp goes to 5.
Whoa! I am genuinely shocked by this.
Yeah, Jim went full Gover.
Yeah. Well, I didn't take one little part of the movie and destroy my entire.
And there were no children
viewing.
harmed in
Right,
the taking
exactly.
of this review. So
Those are Govering maneuvers.
Yes.
Yeah. Take a tiny thing or just pick on the child.
Go on.
Bradford, what did you score this movie?
I mean, I thought it was freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
And I guess because it maybe is more fresh because I watched the first Spinal Tap the night before going to see this one. And I will say I was at home, so I was a little more distracted. If the phone buzzed, I might have looked at it, things like that, which is one of the reasons why it's important to have the theater experience where you put your damn phone down.
Yes.
But I really enjoyed this because I appreciated the humor behind it, and I feel like they modernized the style of mockumentary that Spinal Tap is in a great way that more modern audiences can enjoy, because I think that's the key, is that you don't want to bring in just people that are, obviously when you think about it, Gen X and older, because that is the target right now based on age is Gen X and older. So you want to bring in millennials to be able to appreciate it, and you want people to go and rent the original or stream it for free on Zumo with 6 ads every 12 minutes.
Just buy it on Apple, dude. It's $10.
I know, but I got halfway through, then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to power through it.
Yep.
So
I've gone this far.
I think they did a good job with that, basically with some of the cameos, with some of the humor as well too, in terms of update with the drummer as well. They did a really good job. Yeah, they and then also just having the callbacks to things in the credits. That's what I appreciated. So the point of what the conflict was, resolve that in the credits of the drummer surviving. Maybe resolved it in the credits. You never know. There's still an issue.
Kind of an
Inception?
Yes.
The long walk?
So,
We don't know.
but I appreciated the updating of the humor behind this. And I think that's what stuck with me, is that I was able to laugh out loud at this movie in a theater. And that was just a cool experience. So for that, I'm giving it a 7.
Okay.
What do you score? Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. Big question time on the Untitled Film Project Podcast.
All right, so we've seen mockumentaries. We've seen different versions of this. Spinal Tap obviously being one of the more successful ones for sure. But what's an event or a theme? What is something you would enjoy seeing a mockumentary of in movie form? Gover, I'm going to start with you.
Hockey.
Okay.
I would love to see a mockumentary about, kind of like a slapshot approach. It's like semi-pro minor league hockey. It's not like the NHL, right? But it'd be really fun if there was some sort of, ECHL level team that you could actually buy, because AHL and NHL, you're gonna know they're not gonna let cameras go, and your mind will know that this is professional sports.
You know, it'd be even better though.
What's that?
Like an SPHL where guys have to have day jobs.
Oh, that's true.
Then you have a storyline.
Yes,
minor
semi-pro.
Semi-professional.
Semi-pro, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good call.
Where they're working at Home Depot or Lowe's to make a living, but they also really love hockey, so they're going to keep playing.
That would be hilarious.
There's a story there.
There is absolutely
you could totally
a story
make
there.
fun with that.
Because you can have 3 or 4 different characters.
Absolutely.
Starkly different characters, right? The pretty boy who's finesse only, the hardworking lunch pail guy, the ruffian, and then maybe the coach or something.
And because if you do it in the Southeast, you're picking this smaller southern city.
Yes.
And then you're interviewing fans and everything too about
Yes.
why they enjoy the games. You're picking a small city.
And they'll be characters as well.
Exactly.
I like when go to the games. I'm sorry.
You could have
Fresh
fun.
my father-in-law. It's not derogatory.
You could
It's
absolutely
a
have fun with that.
target-rich environment.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. I love that.
Hockey.
That's great.
We saw, it wasn't a hard-hitting documentary this summer and when it hit Netflix, but Poop Cruise. About the cruise that just, went so sideways. I would love to lean into that and see it in the Spinal Tap mockumentary style, because I think it was just ripe for it. I mean, if you think about it, yes, it was already kind of a funny look at that, but I think you could go really hard into, I mean, if you think about it, if you saw the Netflix documentary about the poop cruise, which is real, you'd think you could, if you didn't know it was real, you'd think this is a stupid, absurd plot.
That ship is still sailing.
The ship is still sailing, and they're out, they're stuck, there's poop everywhere. It's just a nightmare. To me, just that is comedy fuel.
All right. And for me, we got a taste of it for one of my joys, but we got theater camp a couple years ago, which I really enjoyed as a theater person. So for me, I'd like to see a marching band one, because I think there's lots you could do, whether it's a DCI focus or a college band focus, to make sure you can get it to the R rating properly, because it's going to need an R rating for marching band.
Right.
But I think there's plenty that you could do there with a fake college, and then you could just follow the lives of some of these kids, whether it's freshmen or seniors, things like that, of what it is to be in a marching band or in a DCI when you're traveling. I think there's stuff could write itself. And I know we're all going to go back to the American Pie joke, right, of this one time.
Well, sure.
But I think there's more that you could do with true mockumentary fashion and how you could follow these people around, because there's just material already there, because band folks were a little weird.
I would title it One Time at Band Camp. Get the joke out of the way, and it just brings you into that whole world.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I think all of us have lots of material. There's plenty of material for mockumentaries out there for sure.
I completely agree. I would love to see that, because I'm thinking, okay, you got the weird kid in the corner. Okay. Then you've got maybe the kid who thinks he's awesome at his instrument and he kind of sucks, kind of bring it down the rest of the group. And then you've got the teacher who's trying to keep all that, right, that ship all together. Right. There's fodder there for sure.
Yeah.
You've got plenty of grown-ups trying to live out their unfulfilled dreams.
Also
you may sell the rights right here and now. If anybody makes this movie, they owe you money.
Okie dokie.
That's right.
So what's the movie that you would like to see a mockumentary made about? Let us know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening, podcast, hit us up on socials. Pretty much everywhere. I'm Jim Chandler now.
It's go overtime.
Justin Bradford.
Thanks for checking out the Untitled Film Project Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Untitled Film Project Podcast. To support the show, please rate, review, follow, and subscribe. Original music by Jeremy Schwartz. Special thanks to the Music City Film Critics Association. Editing and post-production by Jeremy K. Gover. Voiceover by Chad Bennett.